Welcome to Trading Lounge and the commodities report, starting with Bitcoin, and this is just the CME Bitcoin futures here. So we can see it's still climbing at $3.58 billion here. So they're still, those asset managers are buying that Bitcoin at that point. So it's still risk on at this point. So when we look at Bitcoin in terms of Elliott Wave, we're looking at it. I can see it in two ways. First of all, as we approach this high over here, we're going to see resistance, of course, and we can see it before. Sometimes it happens before, and sometimes on, and sometimes after. What we can see so far, though, is that if I just remove this here for a moment and remove this one here, and just focus on this as 1 and 2 here, and then going up for wave 3 here, because it's quite common in Elliott terms for the wave 3 to meet the old high over here and get sold off, and it's always sort of profit taking and a dip and value buys come in, and wave 4 can be sideways and complicated, and that would suit what's actually going on here at the moment. So having this as 1 and 2 here, and 3 and 4 and 5 up here, for a larger wave 1 and back for wave 2 at that point. So that's probably the pathway, and we can look at that in a bit more detail in a moment, finishing this off here. The other way to view this is a more bullish move, which is wave 1 here and wave 2 here. So that means that when this little trend here tops out, and we'll look at that, when that tops out, we're either going to have a wave 4 correction, or we're going to have another 1 and 2 here. But either way, once that 5 waves is finished here, we're going to have some sort of correction. So it won't be difficult to navigate that, because the correction, will be like this in one way or another, and it will be in 3 waves. So all we need to do is basically start to build in longs again at that B wave top there as an ABC. So that will all be pretty simple to sort of navigate, because we just want to be aware, sometimes, we've all been caught out in, we've gotten out too early, or we've done this and done that. So, we'll be all over it. If we manage our risk and move in and move out and move back in, that will be fine. Otherwise, I don't trade Bitcoin, I'm a hodler. So I don't sort of need to sort of concern myself with it, which is good. So that's kind of it in a bit of a nutshell. So from wave 2 to wave 3 here, obviously supply coming in at the old highs over here. In terms of the trading levels, there we can look at, I've always looked at this high here as basically 65,000, even though it went to 95, it's the 65 that is the main number for me at this particular point, and obviously the 50 here. So if we look at this here on a daily chart, daily, we can drill in here a little bit further. So as 1 and 2 here, and then looking for wave 3 up here. This is our analyst Kitty Pond's viewpoint on this as 1 and 2 here, and 3 and 4 here, and then going up for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I mean, that's pretty simple at this point. As I mentioned, we could view this as wave 1 up here and wave 2 here. So when we go to this wave 4 over here, when this finishes here, there's still a little bit more to go up here as well. Yeah, we'll see this as a little 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 to go finish this off here. So the bottom line here will be that as a wave 3 up here, we'll look at a wave 4, which will be quite big in this case, and then we'll move up there again. So this particular pattern here is what I would sort of always expect at a level at number 5 here, because 5 is the second strongest number to me, and this is what it would be looking like here, the arrival, the reaction. We're in this process here where we have 5 waves up here, so we're looking for the top. We're up here at the moment, and then an ABC pattern here, and then back on our horse, and off we go into the sunset there. So that would be the natural pattern. The only other thing that that I just want to be aware of, and it may not be the case, is that if this here is actually wave 1 up here, or even if this is actually another smaller wave 1 up here, in either case we may just get some sort of retest here and then a push up again. So I'm aware of all the things that can happen, and we'll just go long. We'll call trades in at this point, because we do have a long trade in well, we've got a few in, but this one here, and you know, we have long trades in some of the other cryptos as well, so they will all probably be turning pretty much on point together. So that's pretty much the crypto point of view on Bitcoin, at least here. This is just on an intraday basis here, that I'm just extending this up a little bit further, but it's quite possible we've got this wave 3 here, but our target was 58.59. So we can also see here too that, you know, the trend was really quite strong here, but now you can see that it's tiring out here, so it does need to rebalance. It doesn't mean that it can't go up further. I'm just pointing out that this leg here, it's like everybody's in. Is there anybody else that's coming to the party? You know, that's what happens at a trend. It's the top of the market. There's just nobody else to come in, and that's starting to become the case at this point. So anyway, that's that's Bitcoin. So now we want to focus on the other commodities, and one of the main points is that the commodities, especially the precious metals, and a lot of the FX are being held up because we don't have a clear pathway for the US dollar. So we need to talk about that. The bit of a triangle pattern is, you know, the three major movers is the US dollar, the yields, and the bonds. So if we put the dollar, the bonds, and the yields together and understand how they work together and pivot off each other, then we've got a good understanding of where gold and silver is going to be going to as well. And if we understand the pivot within the yields, the bonds, and the dollar, then we can also look at the FX markets as well. So we do have trades in all of these markets. So let's just make a move on these. So what's the best way to start? I think we'll just look at the bonds first, shall we? And this is a weekly chart here for the bonds. So this is a daily chart actually. The weekly chart will be here. Let me just bring this up here. Now that's switched over to 4 hours. So let me just put that here on a weekly chart for a moment, just to give us the bigger picture again with these things. So this is the weekly chart. So while the TLTs, the ETF here, as bonds have been coming down as wave 1, 2, and 3, 4, and 5 here, then if we get 5 waves in this direction, we're going to have an ABC correction, and then we're going to come down again. So while this is happening for the bonds, then the mirror opposite is going to be happening for the yields and the dollar. So in reverse to this, we can look at the yields doing the same thing, going the other way. Sorry for all the lines. But in a nutshell, we've got 1, 2 here, then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 for the third, fourth, and fifth, and we're looking for the A wave, and we're looking for the B wave. Now, this B wave running up here will be running the same as the US dollar here. So we're going to go to the daily chart now for this, and we'll just have a look at this little run to the upside. Because the count here is a little bit clearer than the count here is a bit clearer here than it is on the US dollar. So we've got the A wave coming down here, as I mentioned before. We've got the A, the B, and we're going up for the C wave here in 5 waves. A little bit hard to track, but basically 1 and 2 here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 for the third wave. We've been waiting for the fourth wave, and this fourth wave in here could get a bit more complicated. It looks like we've just got a simple move down, so it could be an A and a B and a C down here. Not too fussed about it, but we're still waiting for that wave 4, and then we're also waiting for wave 5 to push up here. Wave 1 was about 3 days, so we could expect wave 5 to be roughly the same, and that will be wave 5 C of B at that point. And then we'll turn down at that point. Now, if it's going to take about 3 days to get up there, and look, it may even be more, because the situation here is that I think this could just be the A, the B, and the C wave here for wave 4, and then a move up there. So just the trend itself being 3 days, we still haven't confirmed the end of wave 4 here yet. Okay, so but the main takeaway here is that if the yields need to push up here, and I think the 2 or 5 year auction went okay too over in the last session. So if it must have done, because it's pushed up, nothing spectacular, but it was there. So yeah, we've got the yields need to push up here. So if the yields need to push up, that means that the dollar needs to push up. So when we look at the dollar here, we've got a current count at the moment where we have this down here, and then we're looking for a corrective move here to move up. But we may already, sometimes these markets pivot on each day together, and other times they could wander off for a little while. So we need to be a little bit mindful of that. But the situation here is that if the yields are going to be pushing up, then we should be pushing up here as well. Now, it's not like the question is that there's a good case. Well, I can count this down here quite clearly as an ABC correction. You could get an impulse wave out of it, and spikes are a little bit sort of dangerous in the market as well in sort of using them, so we'll be a little bit careful about that. So we may just get a bit of a rally here and then a breach of this, but if this low gets taken out here, then we know that we're on the next trend to the downside. And if we do take that low out there, then that will spike a risk on for gold, silver, the Aussie, and all the rest of them, But in the meantime, we still got to kind of figure out this. Now, the question is will this just rally up here for halfway, or will it push up and we need to push this over to here, this wave 2 over here? And to be honest, we can count this in lots of different ways. So it doesn't really matter. We still just need to wait for the yields to do its thing. So we'll see. It all just keeps depending on this particular low point here for this. So that's really it. So we can see that the yields, the treasuries, and the dollar are all sort of working together. The yields need to push up. That's quite clear at this point. And the TLTs here, I can see here in their little A wave, B wave, and C wave here, it looks like they need to come down another little leg as well, because here I can count down as 1 here and 2 here, then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 here. So I think we need to make another low here. So we're still not ready to go in and buy gold and silver and so on at this particular point in time. So this is looking at the gold market here, and yeah, I mean the point that we've got a reasonable push here for 5 waves. This particular move that's in here is more like it's in 3 waves, but it can be counted as 5 waves. And if it is 3 waves, then we need to put wave 3 here and and bring wave 4 down to here, and wave 5 to this point, and then that would make wave 1 at that point there as well. So in the bigger picture here for this, if we can just zoom out for a bit, weekly should do the trick, just to have a look at the bigger picture here. So so we can look at this as wave 3 and 4 here, and then 1 and 2, and we may get an ending diagonal here with wave 3, 4, 5 here in this case, and then that would make wave 5 here of cycle degree 1 at that point. Should have that the other way around. Oh no, is that right? Yeah, it's fine. And then have a wave 2 here. And the interesting thing about this particular pattern here is that this is also a classic trading levels pattern, where we have the arrival, the reaction in 3 waves, and then the first high above the level, and then pushing down again. Because if we've got the dollar correctly, if we've got the dollar here in the right place with the yields, because they're the major markets, the bonds and the yields and the dollar. So if I've got the right count there, well, then it makes sense for this to finish off here a little bit and push up here, and then have a larger correction at this point. So that would make sense at that point. And that particular pattern across that level here is the same as the basic pattern of the arrival 3 waves down here. But this 3 waves down here with gold, this B wave pushed back up to this level here, but still gave us 3 waves. And then what we're doing at the moment is we're looking for 5 waves in this move here. So it's a bit messy around this area through here. And once the bonds and the yields and that all start to make their move again, then this will finish off nicely. But once it tops here, then we'll have a deeper correction at that point before going higher. I won't go into the monthly and yearly count for this, but the move to the upside is still plenty of space for all of that. It just won't happen as quickly as people think that it may. Okay, so that's that for a moment, and I just want to have a look at commodities here for a second, and just want to have a look at silver. We didn't do silver, did we? So we'll just have a look at silver. So yeah, silver's still under pressure. While the dollar needs to push up, we can expect this to, you know, gold and silver to move on lower here. One more move here in this here. The bigger picture is this for silver. So yeah, we're just not quite. We're still not ready. The dollar and the yields and all that have to play out in that space for this. The other one is copper. So I'll just use these charts here. So currently we're in an ABC pattern here for this. So we can look to go long above the B wave. We talked about that yesterday. So we'll be on that because we've got this nice impulse wave here. These are some of these charts, and does an excellent job at Elliott wave, and yeah, so we'll push up. So we can look to go long on that. The bigger picture for this is this one here. So it gives us, on the data you can see, it gives us a bit of scope to move along with this one here. And then we come to iron ore, and this is this iron ore here is the futures here for this. Now, what I would like to do here, it's got it like this here, but I just want to have a look at the Dalian exchange in China, actually. So this one's here. So this move here is slightly different from the other chart here. So this would be wave 1 here and 2 here, and then 1 and 2, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 for the third wave, and A, B, C for the fourth. So I'm calling the low in here for this. So I'll see how this climbs off here. And this wave 4 hasn't overlapped wave 1. It has on the Singapore exchange, but it hasn't done it on the Chinese exchange. Which also brings me to why we're here, and we're looking at this here. I do want to have a look at yeah, this here. Let me just go back into the monthly charts for a moment. Just bear with me a second or two. Just checking on something. I know that there was a lot of money put into the equities markets this year. I'm just trying to find that article on the sidelines here, but anyway, it doesn't matter too much. I mean, it doesn't, you know, it's really all about the volume in a way. So, you know, if there is a fundamental aspect to something, a narrative to something, you still need the evidence of that to show up in the markets, you know. So here we've been looking at, for China, we've been looking at, you know, a wave 3 up here with an A wave here, and this is going back a long time, a B wave, a C, a D. It's pretty much a perfect damn triangle pattern, you know. So we know that over the last year, Xi has put in, I think it's something like $5.5 billion or something into into these equity markets here, so I can sort of see it here. But anyway, what I've been harping on about lately is that once we've got the 3,000 level here as support, then this whole pattern that's been going, since 2008 basically, would be completed. And this is a triangle pattern here, so that means that we would be moving up here. Now what this means is that there'll be some buying going on. That's as simple as that, So iron ore and copper and all of those things, we'll probably see nickel come up off its low, so we'll be tracking that as well. In fact, I think I'm just seeing that now. I'm just going to have a look at nickel now. So, well, that's probably it. So maybe I need to just push this under here and finish that off there. I can spend a bit of time looking at that a little bit later. Yeah, it looks like it. 1, 2, 3, ABC for 4, 5, a bit dodgy, but so I think nickel could be good to go. So not quite seeing an impulse wave here yet, but it certainly looks like the case. So that means that I'll come back to that a bit later. But yeah, so we're seeing China sort of lift off here. This is the monthly chart here, and I'll just go to the weekly chart, and we'll basically, look, it's possible that this can be a wave 4 here, but I think Sanjay was looking at this too, maybe one of the other Chinese markets, or the Hang Seng, I think. I can't remember now. Anyway, it doesn't matter. He covers all the indices. So yeah, we'll just see. It looks quite impulsive here. What we're looking for here is support, and support takes a little while. You can see how it played around here, and here you get a few highs and lows in here. We'll talk about all that a bit later, but in a nutshell, we want to see there'll be something like this. There'll be some little dance here, and then they'll be up at that point. So create a long trades at that point for that. But anyway, this is really helpful for those base metals and rare earths and all of that. It looks like the wind is hitting the sails again at this point. So yeah, well, there you go. You've seen it here first. And right, so what's next? I just want to go back here. So he's got it like this. So it's a little bit, he's got it different here on this. That's okay. And I'll just have a quick look at what else do we need to have a look in here. Uranium. We normally look at uranium, but that's pretty straightforward at the moment. So with uranium, we've got 5 waves down at the moment, and we'll be looking for an ABC back. We can pretty much call that low in here. The 5 waves is pretty clear here, so we'll see an ABC pattern. We'll probably do some buying on the ETFs at the URA here. The URA, this one is yeah, URA here. So the date, here we go. So we'll get this wave 4 and we'll go for this wave 5 to the upside. I do have a large account for this. Somebody here has got this as a larger A, B, and C up here. That's fine. But either way, once this 5 waves comes in here, we'll either have a top in here or we'll simply have an ABC pattern and we'll go up again so we can go along on the B wave. So we won't miss much at all. And I'll just have a quick look here at just want to have a look at we'll have a look at crude and gas in a moment. I just wanted to have a look at not so much corn. Coffee was sort of shaping up a little bit. Okay, it's not there just yet. We want to catch that trend. This will probably play out as a classic trading levels pattern at $2 mark there. So okay, so we want to move on to the energy markets at the moment. I just might use my charts for that. So crude here, just so I can explain things a little bit better. So the takeaway here is that this move that's moving up through here is, it's pretty clear that it's in a corrective pattern because of all of this here. Okay, so we could look at it as a WXY as well, or we could look at it as an A wave, a B wave, and 5 waves up here. Either way, we're still going to go up to around this level here. So from 83 to 85, we'll be heading up there. And I can look at this as wave 1 with an ABC for wave 2 here, and then 3, 4, 5, or we could look at this here. I've got this as a B wave here. We can look at wave 1 as an A wave, and then a B wave here, and then a C wave to the upside at that point. So it's pretty clear. And then we'll get the turn here. We are long in ExxonMobil, so that will be okay until this plays out here. Could it be a larger pattern to the upside? Possibly, but of basically looking at this in terms of coming down here for a larger A, a B, and a C wave coming down here, and then moving up at that point. This move here is actually in 3 waves, so there is a possibility that could continue to climb. So we'll be careful. It's just a bit difficult to look at this as a positive sort of pattern. We could, as a long stretch, look at this as wave 1 here and wave 2 over here, but that doesn't even work. It just doesn't fit. So yeah, we'll stay with this for the time being, but I'll keep an eye on it. I understand both sides of the market, but at the moment we're long on crude, and I'll just use some of these charts for natural gas at the moment. So that's in, as you know, that's in a corrective wave 4 at the moment. In the bigger picture here, we've got wave 3 here on the daily chart, wave 4 over here, then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 coming down here. That needs to be updated a bit, but here we go to wave 2. No, that's okay. 1 and 2 here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, same count I've got. We'll look for the A wave, the B wave, and the C wave up to, well, the wave 4 of 1 lesser degree, the 38.2%. The $2 is is the major level at that point, so getting close to that. So I would say 180 to $2 range in here. This should be 5 waves up here, so we've got wave 1 and 2. We'll be looking at 3, 4, 5 moving up there, and then we can look to short down into wave 5 of 3 here. You don't want to get caught up in this wave 4 because it could be quite laborious after you've had a really big move down. Wave, it's like any event that happens in one's life. If it's a huge event, then it takes a while to process that, and that's what sort of wave 4s kind of do, really. I mean, it's just a reflection of of humans going through an experience. So yeah, that's everything, I think, at this point. So I can just leave that at that. Thanks for tuning in. Cheers.